Tantor Audio, a division of Recorded Books, presents Animals, Personal Tales of Encounters with Spirit Animals by Dr. Stephen Farmer, narrated by Paul Brion. Part 1. Understanding Spirit Animals. When I look into the eyes of an animal, I do not see an animal. I see a living being. I see a friend. I feel a soul. Anthony Douglas Williams. 1. Our intimate connection to the animal kingdom. Animals of countless shapes, colors, sizes, and species are in plain sight all around us. Yet, have we forgotten something essential? Have we forgotten that we are one, as well as the human animal? We only need to pause for a moment and feel our hearts beating, observe our movements, and consider that we eat, sleep, eliminate, and procreate in the same basic manner as nearly all other animal beings. Like them, we eventually pass from this physical world, with our bodily substances reassimilating into the soil and our timeless souls returning home to the spirit world. In other words, animals are us, and we are them. For our long-ago ancestors and many indigenous peoples, it's a given that Homo sapiens are fundamentally related to every living being on this planet, from the smallest pebble and multitude of plants to the largest mammals. In our modern world, too many of us have forgotten this intimate relationship. We may agree with it as a philosophy, but the experience of it as our true reality has been obscured, even as we breathe the same air, share the same land and oceans, and cohabitate on this single spectacular Mother Earth. In my humble opinion, it is the animals who are faithfully and lovingly working on our behalf, both in the visible and unseen worlds, to help us reawaken to who we really are and stay on course with our evolution as a humanity. We, in turn, can give deserving reverence to the animals for doing so, and as an honoring to them, stay open to the wisdom of these animal people, as many Native Americans call them. They have much to teach us, and that is why the personal tales being shared in this book are so much more than mystical animal encounters. They are stories illustrating how our animal brethren impart their perennial lessons to us, and as a result, we too can soar like eagles, run like pumas, and reach new heights like the tallest giraffe. In my work, I see every day that more and more individuals are returning to this truth and are curious to discover how to tune into and receive guidance from the animal world. This gives me hope for humanity. It's actually quite wondrous how animals permeate our consciousness and are omnipresent in our everyday lives. They surround us in physical form, like the geese that fly overhead, the rabbit that scampers across our lawn at dusk, or the dolphins that frolic just outside the ocean's surf when you're at the beach. Our animal friends appear everywhere in symbolic form as well. I only have to look as far as my computer to see the tiny raccoon, tortoise, owl, and hawk totems sitting on a shelf behind it. The rainbow serpent in the painting behind my desk is observing me right now. And in the corner of the room, the bronze rendition of a raven with his wings spread is intently watching me. Okay, I'm known as the animal spirit guy, but glance around your living or workspace right now. Do you see animal influences in your environment? Our intimate connection to the animal kingdom reveals itself in a variety of ways. Even in congested urban settings, birds sing away in the trees, pigeons gather around the man on the park bench feeding them, and squirrels scamper about doing squirrel business. Taking a walk in an urban park or a rural forest, we might catch a glimpse of groundhogs rumbling through the brush, deer quietly darting away, or wild turkeys scratching for grubs. Whether we notice them or not, animals coexist with us, sometimes to our dismay, like finding a mouse in the kitchen pantry. But what if that rodent, wasp, or possum is appearing to us for a deeper reason? Most of us have felt the desire to bring a domesticated animal into our lives as a friend and companion. It's no wonder that the pet industry is valued in the tens of billions of dollars. Yes, billions. Our dogs, cats, goldfish, hamsters, and other pets compel us to remember that animals are a part of our earthly family, and we're captivated by the ones that remain feral. Wild animal parks aren't just fun places to have an outing for the day. They offer us a safe yet thrilling glimpse of the wildness that abounds in nature. We even have the natural instinct to revere animals by naming our sports teams after them, such as the Philadelphia Eagles and Sydney Roosters, as well as various organizations like the Lions Club or the Loyal Order of Moose. In both indigenous and contemporary cultures, individuals may be given an animal name, such as fawn, robin, little bear, buck, colt, or black-tail swan. Popular movies, books, plays, and more integrate animals into the storyline as important characters. In particular, our enduring mythological and fairy tales portray animals that communicate with each other and with humans. We keep animals close to us by wearing images of them, or their attributes like leopard print, on our clothing and jewelry, and by incorporating them into our living space decor. Our vehicles are named after cougar and jaguar, and our Puma shoes help us run faster. Even in our everyday language, animal metaphors abound. The stock market is either a bull or a bear market. Someone is busy as a beaver or tries to weasel their way out of things. You may be trying to outfox someone, but because your idea sounds fishy, they probably think you're just horsing around and trying to get their goat. So once they find you out, you'll have to eat crow. You get the picture. We're so intertwined with our animal kin that most of the time we may take for granted their ubiquity in our lives and the bountiful gifts they give us. Yet, we're in a time right now when understanding the interrelationship of all sentient beings is more important to our collective survival than ever, and having a solid connection to the life force that animates us all is crucial. The animals can help us trust our own spiritual authority. So come fly with me into the magic and mystery of spirit animals. 2. What are spirit animals? The spirit world is not some place up in the sky, far removed from us. It's another dimension that exists alongside our material reality. It is present and accessible at all times, requiring only the willingness, intention, and openness to make contact with the beings that reside there, including spirit animals. Our awareness and consciousness are the vehicles that allow us to accomplish this connection. Spirit animals are extensions of God, Great Spirit, Source, or whatever name you give to all that is, just as we and everything else in the material world are. They are part of a broader realm, most often referred to as spirit guides, helping spirits, or guardian spirits. These three terms are used interchangeably to mean any of the spiritual beings that help us in a life-affirming way, such as ancestors, archangels, nature's spirits, or animals. They may be ordinarily non-visible or show up in visible form, and will often indicate their presence through signs and omens. We can also call on them for guidance, protection, encouragement, and inspiration. Some spirit guides have been with us since childhood, while others appear at various periods in our life, perhaps to help us through difficult transitions. We may see them, hear them, feel them, or just know they're with us. The important thing to remember is that they want to help us experience more peaceful, harmonious, and happier lives, yet will not interfere with our free will. They are happy to serve and willingly do so whenever called upon. Animal spirit guides and spirit animals. How do animals fit into the spirit world? The concept of spirit animals is found in most indigenous cultures. Their relationships with animals are the result of tens of thousands of years of ancestral connection to their environments, landscapes, and ecosystems, which they regard as sacred. The particular meanings of different animals vary broadly across world cultures, but the commonality is that civilizations have worshipped, mythologized, and revered animals as guardians, messengers, spirits, and even gods since time immemorial. From the Buddhist belief that animals are souls that reincarnate, the Hindi depiction of monkey and elephant gods like Ganesha and Hanuman, and Egyptian deities that meld human with sphinx, ibis, falcon, snake, dog, and more, to the Greeks, Druids, other Europeans, and Asians who listened for wisdom from the animals, the spiritual ties between mankind and animals is evident everywhere. A few more terms for clarification. Spirit guides or helping spirits in the form of an animal, generally called animal spirit guides or spirit animals, appear when spirit is attempting to get our attention. A spirit animal can show up physically, such as a crow that lands outside your window and glares at you, or symbolically, as when you see images of a seahorse everywhere you turn. They can also reveal themselves in a dream vision or through sound, like a blue jay screeching nearby. A spirit animal can cross your path, then leave as quickly as it arrived, or reveal itself repetitively over a span of time. Regardless of the duration of its presence, if it shows up in an unusual way, it's doing so as a messenger from spirit. I am delighted to share my perspective and personal experiences with spirit animals, as I know firsthand how profound of a supporting role they can play in helping navigate life's challenges. I have learned so much about myself through the eyes of hawk, bear, and many other spirit animal friends. The more you enter into partnership with them, you too will experience spirit animals as exceptional teachers about the natural world, the spiritual realm, and about life overall. Working with spirit animals as part of your daily routine will not only enhance your ordinary experiences, but will immensely expand your spiritual capacities as well. Once in relationship with these animal brothers and sisters, you will come to trust their keen perception, sage advice, and the simple ways in which they appear just when you most need guidance. Totem animals. Spirit animals are sometimes referred to as totem animals, although this is a more specific type of spirit animal that has a couple of different meanings. A totem animal can be one that is shared by a clan, family lineage, or like-minded group, or adopted by any type of group for a particular reason. For example, an addiction support group may decide to use a lion in symbolic form to reinforce qualities of endurance and strength of will. An intentional community might embrace the totem of a meadowlark or dove to instill qualities of relationship harmony among the members. Or a group of neighbors could choose to honor the native species in the vicinity by naming their local park Raccoon Trail or Deer Run. Another meaning of totem animal is a favorite spirit animal that can be represented symbolically, such as with a talisman, emblem, crest, statue, or piece of jewelry. In the Pacific Northwest, totem poles have representations of the spirit animals that are shared by the various clans that exist within the tribe, often with a totem animal for the entire community being at the top of the totem pole. Even in contemporary society, you'll find representations of animals that can be rightfully called totems, such as the teddy bears or stuffed bunny rabbits we give to small children to give them comfort. I've discovered that a more useful term for what has been called a personal totem is a power animal, the meaning of which stems from shamanism, as described in the following section. The ancient practice of shamanism that is seeing a revival in the contemporary world provides a different perspective on these spirit animals that work with us throughout our lifetimes. As you'll learn, a power animal is a spirit animal that is much more than a symbol. It is a guardian spirit that can provide protection, guidance, and healing. Power animals. Spirit animals can also grace our lives in the form of power animals. This is a highly personal and specialized relationship with an animal's spirit guide. It's not one you choose in the usual sense of the word. It's more of a soul-to-soul connection, in which your soul bonds with the soul, or more accurately, the oversoul of the animal. The power animal relationship is one to be nurtured and attended to on a regular basis, and usually lasts for a number of years. The concept of power animal has its origins in shamanism, and the term shaman originates from the Tungus people of Siberia and means one who knows. It is believed that the advent of shamans occurred after agriculture was discovered. In various indigenous cultures up to the present day, you will find shamans who are an essential part of these communities. The fundamental skill of the shaman is the shamanic journey. That is, an altered state of awareness in which the shaman transports his soul into non-ordinary reality to align with helping spirits and receive teachings, guidance, and healings. This is done by reconnecting the conscious human life with the natural and spirit worlds through animal spirits. For this reason, during shamanic journeys, power animals are critical allies for the shaman. In essence, the power animal aids the shaman in transcending the earthly plane and attuning to the ethereal. A shaman's particular power animal is typically acquired early in their initiation into their practice. From then on, the power animal travels with the shaman wherever he goes on a journey, for himself or on behalf of others. These days, many more people are becoming familiar with shamanism, and some feel called to work as a shamanic practitioner. I am honored to serve in this role in my work. Whenever I do a shamanic journey, I always call on 2 of my 4 power animals, Wolf and Raven. Wolf has proven to be a supreme protector and guardian, as well as a guide, and Raven has proven to be an excellent manifester, guide, and consultant. In these sessions, I serve as the bridge for my clients to meet their own power animals. It is always a profound and magical experience for myself and the individual, as no 2 journeys are alike. Sharon, for example, met her power animal in a journey and was surprised that Dolphin came to her. As we worked together in her sessions, it became evident that this was the perfect power animal for her, as Dolphin provided the powers of communication, playfulness, breathwork, and a greater fluidity in her physical movements. Sharon eventually realized that Dolphin's characteristics were subtly helping her modify habits in her life that needed greater balance and flow. You don't need to be a shaman, have an interest in shamanism, or be associated with an indigenous culture to experience the tremendous value of working with power animals. You can learn to access this same energy by opening to the possibility of these intelligent beings guiding you. In response, the animals will answer your heart's calling. It may come to you in a meditation, vision, or dream to impart spiritual wisdom or guidance. Power animals can stay with you for extended periods of time and for specific reasons. I've observed that they enter into our lives at a time when we most need their particular expression of spiritual power. For instance, if you're a manager or leader who is dealing with hostile team members, Crab can step in sideways to assist you in making quick decisions, turning things around, and tactfully dealing with confrontation. If you're going through a major life transition like a divorce or career change, you may find Albatross flying in to help lift your burdens, or Camel replenishing your faith when you feel discouraged or lost. Your power animal may leave you at some point, which usually means that the relationship has served its purpose, and another one is or will be coming into your life. Because a spirit animal's power is drawn from its instinctual and wild nature, domesticated animals cannot be power animals. They've lost much of their wildness and are removed from the natural world. Likewise, some traditions believe that insects are excluded from being power animals because of their size and nature, as are mythological animals such as dragons and unicorns, which I will speak more about later. I found it fascinating that when I was writing my book on power animals, dragonfly, butterfly, and other insects argued vehemently about being included, so I included them. I now see the wisdom of that, as insects offer unique types of power. The essence of the spirit animal. Depending on how and in what way they show up in the material world, whether in the flesh or as a symbol, the appearance of animal spirit guides can be as a representative of the consciousness of that animal. For instance, if your power animal is a crane, the traits of longevity and honor that you glean from it are coming not just from a single bird, but from the entire species of cranes. Throughout this book, you will notice that I am either referring to animal spirit guides as particular beings, such as lowercase badgers and chameleons, or as the essence of these beings, hence uppercase badger or chameleon. The hummingbird that flits about and then hovers for several seconds directly in front of you isn't just a hummingbird, but is carrying with her the essence of all hummingbirds, and is therefore hummingbird with a capital H. That's also why when speaking of animal spirits, it is appropriate to leave out the A or an. The hawk that visits you isn't only a hawk, but in some instances also represents the consciousness of all hawks, and is therefore hawk with a capital H. Why is this distinction important? Viewing your animal spirit guides in this expansive way will most likely inspire you to have a greater and deeper appreciation for all cranes, all badgers, all hummingbirds, and to extend that care and respect to the animal kingdom as a whole. If capital S shark is your power animal, for example, the love and appreciation you feel for capital S shark will naturally span out to encompass all creatures of the sea, then those of the land and the air. Eventually, this will translate into a desire to walk more gently on Mother Earth and feel compassion for her as a living being. This is why I feel strongly that co-creating our earthly existence with spiritual guidance from our animal brethren can truly change all of our lives for the better. Now let's delve into the specifics of how spirit animals fulfill this grand purpose. 3. What is the purpose of spirit animals? Sales reps. That's what I sometimes call animals who visit us in various ways on behalf of Great Spirit. They are intermediaries who are able to connect us to God, Source, the Creator, as a specific physical manifestation of Great Spirit. It is my belief that Spirit does not express through us, but more accurately, that we are Spirit in expression, which just happens to be physicalized. I am Spirit expressing as Stephen. Crow is Spirit expressing as a crow. Buffalo is Spirit expressing as a buffalo. That is why whenever animals present themselves in an unusual way, or repeatedly over a short span of time, it's an indication that something very significant is going on that needs to be addressed. Spirit-animal symbolism. Animals express to and through us by way of symbolism. An archetypal power resides within and manifests through all creatures. These archetypes embody their own qualities and characteristics, which are reflected in the outward behaviors and activities of the animals. Snake shedding its skin, for example, becomes symbolic of letting go of things that no longer serve you. A dragonfly that reflects light on its wings and deftly changes flight patterns in midair demonstrates the ability to be flexible and welcome fresh perspectives. Understanding the meaningful and profound wisdom of archetypal language is how you can begin to establish a personal connection to the animal that crosses your path, which can occur in the physical world, such as seeing a frog or elk, or in your meditative or dream states. The further you immerse into the precise symbolism of the spirit animal, at some point its true essence will reveal itself to you, thereby gifting you with messages that may be universal in meaning, yet feel incredibly personal. For instance, the spirit animal can symbolize aspects of your personality, feelings you may not have fully acknowledged, events or influences in your life, or skills and traits that you have successfully acquired or have yet to develop. It can represent a situation you are dealing with, or emotions you are in the midst of processing. Ant, for example, may enter your life to instill qualities of discipline, industriousness, and working for the greater good. Butterfly might float into your world to show you how to lighten up, flow with the changes, and accept them as opportunities for positive growth. While we're on the subject of archetypes, I'd like to address the concept of mythological creatures as animal spirit guides. Some people find themselves receiving messages from dragon, unicorn, or phoenix, to name a few. While it can be easy to dismiss these kinds of messengers, the reality is that these non-visible beings are in our collective consciousness, and for that reason, they are real. In the case of these mythological animals, it is irrelevant that they are not physically embodied in the world. Their teachings and wisdom are very much applicable to our lives. If a dragon comes to you through your dreams or imagination, for example, it may be suggesting that you have to put a little more fire or passion into your life. Unicorns may suggest that you need to honor your imagination more. Whether they appear in physical or mythological form, the archetypes that spirit animals embody can aid us greatly on our path of personal and spiritual evolution. Spirit animals bring us medicine. When we speak of how an animal spirit guide shows up symbolically and imparts its wisdom, we say that the animal is bringing us a certain medicine. This medicine comes in the form of wisdom, guidance, protection, power, or teachings. Each animal has specific gifts that are unique to them, so the medicine they deliver serves specific functions or purposes, such as the ones I'm giving throughout these chapters. Pay attention to what's happening in your life when a spirit animal appears, as it's probably there to give you something that you need at that particular time. For example, cougar equals leadership. Boar equals facing your fears and doing what is necessary to resolve them. Hawk equals perspective, focus. The message you receive may be practical advice, or a much deeper one designed to remind you of your spiritual path and soul's journey. And as I mentioned earlier, when a power animal shows up, its medicine is one that will help support and sustain you over a longer period of time, typically many years. I'll relay a situation that my friend Rob and his wife Sue recently shared with me. They were preparing for a major move to a new city, and Rob was feeling extremely anxious about it, to the point of losing sleep and dropping weight. One night, a raccoon appeared in his backyard. He researched the meaning of raccoon and discovered that the message was about resourcefulness. Upon contemplation of this creature's wisdom, Rob realized that he did in fact have all the necessary resources, both internal and external, for this move. It relaxed him a great deal during the rest of the moving process, and he felt encouraged by Raccoon's medicine to stay flexible and adapt quickly to whatever came up. The move went well, and Rob and Sue are now living very happily in their new home. Spirit animals teach us about ourselves. Spirit animals clearly teach us about aspects of ourselves, including our strengths and weaknesses, our limiting beliefs, and our highest potentials. When we bond with an animal spirit guide, we are encouraged to discover and explore more aspects of ourselves. It's quite fascinating to study the behaviors and characteristics of the animals and relate it back to yourself. Learn all you can about the animal, including its colors, mannerisms, habitat, diet, and how it relates to others in its species. What activities does it get involved in? Is it carnivore or omnivore? Is it a pack animal or one that stands alone? Lion teaches self-confidence. Do you need to be more assertive? Squirrel is master of activity and accumulating resources. Are you preparing for the near or distant future, or do you need to learn how to gather and ration? Again, the more you decode the symbology and archetypal nature of the animal, the more it will teach you. They are a bridge to the spirit world. Since animals easily inhabit both the material and non-material worlds, they can serve as a conduit for delivering messages from those in spirit, including our deceased loved ones. It is fairly common for those who have lost a loved one to have an experience of a spirit animal presenting itself as, or as a reminder of, that person who has passed. For instance, a dove shows up shortly after you've lost someone close to you, lands on your table while you're outside having your coffee, and you swear it's staring right at you. You simply know that this is a messenger from your loved one saying, "I'm okay, don't worry." A spirit animal may sometimes deliver a message that your loved one wanted to tell you when they were alive. After my friend Miranda's father died, she went to a spot on the beach located in front of her father's favorite restaurant, and she noticed a single dolphin frolicking in the water unusually close to shore. As she walked along the beach, the dolphin followed her for several meters, then swam further out to sea and joined his pod. Miranda felt this was a very reassuring message from Dolphin that her father was just fine in the spirit world. Animals absolutely play a role in delivering messages from spirit by utilizing all of their attributes. Feathers, paw prints, nests, antlers, and more can show up synchronistically in the exact right place at the perfect moment, and in a form that you recognize as a nudge from your loved one. It is typically accompanied by a deep sense of peace. Spirit animals help us heal and evolve. As you will hear from the stories that others have so generously shared in this book, spirit animals can help us heal and evolve, especially those who stay with us for short or long periods of time as totem animals and power animals. They remind us in both
Sample complete. Ready to continue?